party and deepening democracy in Nigeria. Finally, the resolution from that meeting was that it is time to rescue APGA from all forms of political stagnation, lack of accountability, lack of transparency, and what it calls squandermania. Well, that is signed by the Deputy National Secretary of the party, Chief Jerry Obasi, and the Acting National Chairman, Ozo Okafo. Well, that's that. The party says it's still a force to reckon with, and it is working on game-changing strategies to bring it back to its feet. Now we move on to the raid of the judges by the Directorate of State Security, and calls coming from the judges being investigated by the EFCC to step aside by the Nigerian Bar Association. And the NJC is saying that it does not support the stance of the NBA on the matter, as it's already working to implement recommendations to discipline members of the bench if they are found wanting in moral standards and conduct. Well, let's see what the NJC had to say about the position of the Nigerian Bar Association. It says that position breaches the 2014 revised judicial discipline regulations formulated by NJC pursuant to Section 160 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Well, this is what the NBA had to say on the matter. The NBA wants some of the judges to step aside. Well, the NBA, in a statement, says, in order to protect the sanctity and integrity of judicial processes that may involve the judges concerned and to safeguard the public image of the institution, the NBA had recently strongly recommended that, without prejudice to the innocence or otherwise of the judges involved in the ongoing investigations, they should be required to recuse themselves from further judicial functions or required to proceed on compulsory leave until their innocence is fully and completely established, or until the conclusion of all judicial and disciplinary proceedings. Well, the National Assembly has also had its say on the matter, though most of the lawmakers did not support the method deployed by the DSS. The House of Reps set up an ad hoc committee to commence investigation into the matter. Well, that move for the National Assembly to wade in has definitely not gone down well in some quarters. As a group, the Legal Defense and Assistance Project, LEDAP, says the Senate plans to summon the judges, but that the legislature does not have the right to meddle in the affairs of the judiciary. Well, the national coordinator of the group, LEDAP, Chino Obiago, is in the studio with me. Let's get some perspectives into the matter. Many thanks for joining us, Chino.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
So what informs the position of LEDAP, saying that the National Assembly does not have a right to invite or investigate and question the judges?
Well, because the Constitution provides for separation of powers, and that is the foundation of constitutional democracy. Sections 4, 5, and 6 provides clearly that these are three different arms of government that mutually autonomous, but also with some check and balances. Now, with respect to the judiciary, Section 6 of the Constitution has provided that the judiciary is independent, and that the independence of judiciary is within its inherent powers of the court of law. And what is those inherent powers? A judge has judicial immunity while performing his judicial functions. So the legislature cannot have an oversight function over the judiciary. That completely undermines the independence of the judiciary. Okay. The second point is that the Constitution has, for now, the 1999 Constitution departed from the previous Constitution by setting up Nigerian National Judicial Council that has warehoused everything that has to do with judiciary, and anything that is outside that has to do with judicial conduct, judicial officers, appointment, discipline, has to be handled by the National Judicial Council and no other body. So the National Assembly does not have any jurisdiction under the Constitution. Okay,
so when you talk about judicial immunity, in not so many words, you do not support the DSS raid on the judges and the setting up of the ad hoc committee by the House of Representatives to investigate the matter on ground.
Well, of course, definitely we condemn the raid of the judges' residences and by DSS. First, DSS do not have the powers to do so under their law. The National Security Agencies Act simply gives them power to prevent internal security, monitor internal security, and not economic crime. So they went completely outside their statutory functions and disagreed across the land.
Mr. Obiago, still on judicial immunity, are you saying if there is evidence against a judge, for instance, it is out of, it is not within the ambits of the law for a raid to be carried out on such a judge?
It has to be, of course, the judge is not above the law. It has to be carried out within due process. And what is the due process? Such complaint must first go to National Judicial Council. The National Judicial Council will look at it, and if there is a conduct that has criminal imputation, of course, it will refer to the proper body. And the proper body is either EFCC, the ICPC, or the police. Now, if there is no criminal conduct, it's an issue of misconduct in judicial function. The NJC will discipline the judge concerned.
So what happens in a case where the NJC has not carried out discipline as deemed fit or has not been expedient in disciplining erring judges?
Well, first of all, I would disagree. The NJC has not been doing what it was supposed to do. It may be that the NJC has not been as efficient as the public wanted to be. But that does not mean another body will come and take over.
So what's the way out?
The way out is first, the NJC has agreed that he needs to strengthen his own systems, and that is why the National Judicial Policy has been adopted. This has been on the pipeline for a very long time. Now it's now come to fruition. It will enhance the effectiveness of the complaint system of NJC. Secondly, is that the Nigerian, there should be strengthened independence of the judiciary. The NJC should be given autonomy to manage the judicial affairs without interference from the executive.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chino Obiago. We'll take a moment, and when we come back, we continue the conversation. Please stay with us.
Stay connected to the world with the Channels TV app for mobile to get all the stories around the world available on Android, iOS, and Windows phones. Tap the expertise you trust. Touch the stories that touch you. Anytime, anywhere. Channels TV app for mobile. The news at your fingertips.
The House is conscious of the powers of the SSS as enumerated in sections 2, subsection 3 and section 6 of the National Security Agencies Act 1986, which does not include the investigation and prosecution of corruption and abuse of office.
I don't want members to prejudge or make statements that would defeat the intents of the investigation that we're going to conduct. If you allow me, I will plead with us to hold on until this investigation is done in line with the prayers of the motion.